Hello, here is our landscape invoice calculator. Here we have our cover sheet with our group name and the names of the members in our group, and then here's all the instructions how to use the sheet. Okay, if we go to our landscape invoice, you can see we have a table that lays out all of our types of material and the price per square footage. Here we use data validation to select which type to make a list. And then right here we used an if statement. And so this goes through and determines based off of the type of material used to look in this table, and we used VLOOKUP for that. So it looks through and selects based off the second column and based off of the type the price per square footage to use. And in this, we have an absolute reference right there, and then a relative reference. And then our units purchased, we just use rand between to put in some numbers for that. The materials cost is just the units purchased times the square footage, or the price per square footage. And then we just use rand between again for the labor per hour. And then the time, we estimated that it was about 2 hours per unit to install. And so that's that. And so that was one of our mathematical equations as well. And then right here, our labor cost is just the time hours times the cost of labor per hour. And then here we used another data validation to do a drop down of yes or no if a machine was used. Here we used an if statement, and then our new function as well, roundup, to determine if the machine was used, and if it was, then that is going to be the time times our name cell, which is on the next sheet, which is skid steer. And then our total price is just more mathematical equations, including an if statement, just in case if a machine wasn't used, to leave that blank. And then here our total cost is a sum function, and we use conditional formatting right here on the total price, so that the lower prices were darker and the higher prices were lighter. Then a reference table, here is our named cell, like I mentioned before, skid steer, and that gives us our machine cost, and if it was used, yes or no. Here is our pivot table that we made, demonstrating our type of material, and then the average of total price, and then that grand total price at the end. Here's our chart. We did a column chart to demonstrate the material types, and then the total price in thousands to show the differences between all of the types of materials. And here is our final sheet talking about our team contributions, what we each did, and then our concepts learned. I learned a lot on how to basically clean up and format an Excel sheet well, and I feel like I gained more proficiency as well on how VLOOKUP works along with our additional function that we use. And then Braden said he learned more on the importance on how to format your table, and the importance that has on creating pivot tables. And then Bridger also learned more about the roundup function that he contributed, and mentioned how useful that will be for other cases as well.